identity, constant, and modulus functions. In this module, you will learn about the graph, domain and range of identity, constant, and modulus functions. Recall that a function is a relation in which each input is related to exactly one output. Suppose we have a function f that maps a set x to a set y. The set of all inputs of a function is the domain of the function. The set of all possible outputs of a function is the codomain of the function. The set of actual outputs of a function is the range of the function. If x is the input to the function f, then f of x represents the corresponding output. Now let's learn about some functions and their graphs. Look at this function f that maps from a set of real numbers to a set of real numbers and is defined by f of x equals 3, where x is an element belonging to the domain of f. If we plot the graph of this function, we get a horizontal line parallel to the x-axis so that it cuts the y-axis at 3. The graph shows that for any input to this function, the output remains constant. Such functions are called constant functions. Now if we substitute a constant k for 3, we get a constant function f of x equals k. The domain of this function is the set of real numbers, and the range is a set consisting of constant k. Now look at this function f that maps from a set of real numbers to a set of real numbers so that f of x equals x, where x is an element belonging to the domain of f. For this function, we see that each input equals the output of the function. Also, if we plot the graph of this function, the graph is a straight line passing through the origin. Such functions in which the domain equals the range are identity functions. The graph shows that the domain and the range of this function are a set of real numbers. Now we'll discuss modulus functions. First, let's recall what a modulus or absolute value of x is. When x equals -2, its absolute value is +2. When x equals +2, its absolute value is +2. Similarly, if we take x equals to -22, its absolute value is +22. We see that whatever be the number, positive or negative, its absolute value is always positive. When we define a function from a set of real numbers to a set of real numbers by f of x equals modulus of x, it is called a modulus function. The modulus of x equals x for all x greater than or equal to 0 and minus x for all x less than 0. Let's understand this property by taking some values of x in this function. When x equals 7, f of x equals 7 as 7 is greater than 0. Now let's take x equal to -4. Since x is less than 0, f of x equals minus of -4, which equals 4. Now let's plot the graph of the modulus function. Here we get the graph. The graph shows that the domain of this function is a set of real numbers and the range is the set of all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. In this module, you have learned the following.